What's going on, guys? Today we are talking about a fragrance from, is this Arabiyat Prestige? It is. Okay. Hey, so far they haven't missed. I really love fragrances from this inspiration house. I know they have their own original fragrances, but mostly what they're known for is their inspiration creativity. So this is going after something it's been a while since I've put my nose to, but it is a banger. So let's see if this one delivers. Strap up.
Okay, feeling for two. I watch that head move side to side as I let the sin into the room. You were on top, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening. Today we are talking about Fahad Regal from Arabiyat Prestige. And this is going after, I'm going to have to check my notes here, Byredo's Vanille Antique. I have the little booklet here. This was sent to me kind of as a gift with my purchase. Top notes Cyclamen, middle notes Cyst and Labdanum, base notes Musk, Cedarwood, and Vanilla. I remember, man, it's been almost, I gotta be honest with you guys, it's been almost a year since I've smelled Vanille Antique. Definitely go back and check my review of it. I did call it one of the better releases from Byredo. Byredo to me kind of represents fancy mass appeal scents. A lot of Byredo's stuff and what they design, they have a lot of contracts with like big hotels and things like that. So they've got a very kind of fun, happy-go-lucky, carefree fanciness to them. This one being a vanilla fragrance, though, normally we're used to citruses and exotic aquatics, and they do have some head scratcher scents, some unique stuff, but that's not really the mass appeal stuff. Except for in FragCom, maybe we talk about them a lot, your biblioteques and your Mojave Ghosts and all that stuff. But generally, what I'm familiar with is a very mass appeal type of stuff. Some of the other works from them. Vanille Antique, from what I remember, is was a little bit more expensive than the general line because it was a higher concentration, if I'm not mistaken. I forget why, but I remember when I came across the Byredo set, there were like 4 or 5 fragrances off to the left that had dark juice, whereas all the other scents had clear juice in them. And when I asked, I think it had something to do with just a higher concentration for this set. And Vanille Antique was a part of that. So we're probably dealing with an extrait, but I'm not, don't quote me on that. Okay, I'm gonna spray this on my other arm as well because I have some scents kind of wafting, I think, from earlier from my wrist. And I want to make sure what I'm smelling is accurate because what I smell on the test strip versus skin is a significant enough for me to be glad I put it on skin so that I'm describing it for you accurately. Again, this is supposed to be kind of an ambery resinous vanilla, pretty straightforward. On the test strip, I get that. The first fragrance that immediately jumps out in my mind, not in terms of comparison for scent profile, but just what I think about, is the only other fragrance that is going after this exact scent profile to an extent is Vanille Fatale from Tom Ford. So that to me is what I'm going to be evaluating this fragrance based off of. And then maybe I'll talk about some competitor kind of perspective stuff on vanillas because, as you know, there are a million vanillas out there. This is classified as like a vanilla, ambery, woody fragrance, so pretty singular. It's not unique, which I don't think is a problem to some extent. Yeah, on skin it's significantly different. I get like a lot of floral for some reason, kind of trying to creep through. It's almost like, um, man, I got something in my eye. It's almost like, Yeah, a lot of sweetness pushing through. So it starts off as this very like picture Grand Soir without all the butter and sweetness. It's a little bit scaled down, a little more resiny woody. So more along the lines of like something between Grand Soir and like Memories of a Trespasser, very close to Vanille Fatale from Tom Ford as well. But you get a mostly sweet kind of a sweet, powdery, warm, ambery vanilla with like a very woody, slightly resinous undertone. But then on skin, yeah, on skin, you get almost like this soapy floral essence, like trying to creep in. It's not dominating. It turns into like a 60-40 or 70-30 kind of relationship, with the 30-40% being this like fresh floral soapy quality, musky, trying to like creep in. To be honest, it's kind of confusing with this vanilla profile because it very much is going after this intimate night by the fireplace, date night, after hours kind of feels very intimate and familiar. But then the dry down kind of goes more of their Bibliothèque Mojave Ghost kind of style of just like kind of being different. And not only different, but counterbalancing an intimate style of DNA with then this soapy clean floral vibe. I don't really feel like it goes together, but it definitely screams of kind of the Byredo aesthetic scent wise from what I'm used to. Let's go ahead and switch screens here. Fragrance runs about $40, which I think is reasonable. 4.46 out of 5, only 13 votes. And I'll tell you why. Arabiyat Prestige is, slowly becoming a household name in the clone business. Number 2, this was a 2025 release. And number 3, Arabiyat Prestige has a lot of fragrances getting a lot of attention right now. And so Fahad Gaze, which I believe is like a Gucci Guilty Elixir style, if I'm not mistaken, is getting a lot more hype over this fragrance. So it's kind of getting significantly overshadowed. But it's also a 2025 release, tail end of the year. So it's probably only been out a couple of months now. So I'm sure, Vanille Antique is a head scratcher of a fragrance. Like, many people want to smell it from Byredo, and many people have smelled it because it's one of the more approachable scents for Byredo, I feel. But, so hopefully, basically what I'm saying is I hope this video like brings out some more modern information on this fragrance, because not a lot of people are talking about it from what I can see. I'm glad I got this as a sample. This cyclamen note is very much a kind of like soapy white / pink floral musky type of thing. I don't even get that in the top notes initially, really. I mean, it's kind of there, but really where I'm getting it come through is on skin. And it's like, it's going for this powdery, warm, intimate, ambery vanilla. But then you got this like soapy floral trying to like almost like crash your parade. So it's a very familiar scent profile with like a really significant twist in it. Probably by about 30%, I can feel that kind of floral essence coming in. I don't really feel like it's complementary at all. I feel like it's very contrasty. And had it not done that, this would have been like a total kind of blind buy worthy solid vanilla in the clone marketplace. But I feel like that floral note really, even though it's familiar to the style of Byredo, it makes it less mass appealy and more of a head scratcher fragrance. Like, believe it or not, like the Mojave Ghost, the Bibliothèque, even Ball de Freak. Ball de Freak, I think, is one of the most mass appealing fragrances out of the line. But like, if you just survey a lot of the Byredo scents, like, people either really love them, who like love the uniqueness and intricacy of them, or people don't understand them because they're going after a good idea and then they just kind of ruin it. So I think that's where this fragrance falls, is like, if you want a vanilla that's significantly different than a lot of the vanilla ambers, um, you'll like this. And I find that there's, in my own personal experience, there's been like basically the Byredo scents that I've evaluated, a lot of the women that like them are kind of like just women that like, the uniqueness and differentness of it, but they're not really women who I find would go after mass appeal fragrances or like super wearable fragrances. So that even further like kind of leans me towards saying that this fragrance is definitely like a please try it before you buy it. As it dries down more and more, it becomes more palatable, but I just don't like the soapy flair to this intimate idea, because it's like the soapy quality of it makes it feel like a fragrance you'd wear toward the day, but it's dominated by this amber vanilla powderiness and resinousness that is pushing for nighttime appropriate type of perfumery. I would never wear this fragrance during the day, yet it has this kind of daytime push in it. But again, I think since it's not complimentary, yeah, here we go. So by Vanilla Antique is a extrait. I hate when people vote on a fragrance on this perfume reminds me of section. I feel like sometimes like people just list it because they heard like, oh, okay, Fahad Regal is cloning Vanilla Antique, so we're just going to put it there and we're all going to upvote it because we know that's what it's cloning. This is not supposed to be a place where we tell people what stuff is cloning. This is supposed to be a place where we tell people what this smells like. And though the fragrance should be on this reminder list because that's what it's cloning, I just think this 14-0 is a little bit somewhat dishonest or misleading, like, and not even in an intentional way. It's almost like as a viewer, you'll look at this and say, oh, wow, 14 out of 0 people, 14 upvotes, 0 downvotes say that this is closely, most reminds them of Vanilla Antique. But you might internalize that as meaning that it cloned it perfectly. And I'll be honest, is there cyclamen in this? No. So notice here, this is truly what you would call a twist, because the reason why I wanted to look to see if they were the same is because I don't recall this kind of soapy floral top note being in the fragrance at all. And now I can see why, is because in the actual Vanilla Antique, there isn't any floral elements at all. There's this very intimate plum and musk. And in the other fragrance, the musk is brought down into the base, but it's still a part of the fragrance, so it reminds you of it. But the plum makes it more intimate. So yeah, I remember this fragrance being a lot more romantic, intimate night vibes and date vibes and just anything romantic or seductive or just night palatable. And I don't remember it having any soapiness. Even the musk was just truly lifting this kind of powdery vanilla woody experience. It reminded me of like, eating vanilla ice cream by a fire. Now that doesn't mean that it smells exactly like Memoirs of a Trespasser either. This ice cream would be more of a creamy variety. You ever been to Culver's and they have custard? Custard is a lot creamier and milkier because they use eggs to make their ice cream. And so it's a lot more like gooey and buttery. Even though this is more of a powdery experience, it's more creamy and kind of milky than Memoirs of a Trespasser, which I feel smells like this, but is a much more ashy approach to this. It's like, again, it's like library books and vanilla ice cream. It's got a drier feel. Okay, all that being said, in terms of closeness, I think I can comfortably say like this doesn't peak past like 80%. In the opening, they feel very close, like at least 90. Dry down, I feel like is where it's like 80 is the best score I can give it because it's quite a twist. I really encourage you guys to actually try the actual Vanilla Antique because I did really like it. And I remember saying to myself like, oh, this is one of Byredo's most like newbie friendly fragrances. And that was because it was like good composition, familiar profile to stuff you catch in designer stuff, but fancier. So I would have purchased Vanille Antique. This clone, I don't think I would purchase it. And it's because I don't like the creativity. I don't like the twist. I don't think it's appropriate, and I told you guys why. I'm still going back to it because I'm just hoping something will change, you know? But let's go through the usual suspects, and I will get my tail out of here since we're already at 15 minutes. Fall, winter. If you do spring, summer, it's nights only. It's romance. It's intimacy, loungy. Sprays on this, I think it's like 6 to 8. You're good. You're totally fine. You know, when you're in colder weather or breezy, this fragrance benefits from a breeze. I feel like it's perfectly unisex. Maybe the slightest bit feminine leaning with the floral note to this. As a score, I really give it a 6. And if I go below a 6, I won't even rate it. But I really feel confident calling this a 6 because, again, had the florals not been in there, this would be more like an 8. And I think the actual Vanille Antique feels like an 8 or a 9 fragrance. Maybe like high 8 would be appropriate for it, but I don't do decimals. So I'd probably more comfortably, I'll call it an 8 just because my top tier mono vanilla fragrances are pretty up there, you know. I think even Vanille Fatale is better than Vanille Antique. No, I'd have to go back and visit them. They're probably quite equal. But, you know, then you have Grand Soir, you know, Memoirs of a Trespasser. You have Absolute Aphrodisiac. You know, there's just a lot of nice, beautiful contenders. Some people would say Vanilla Sex, but I think that's more typical and juvenile in comparison. These other ambers feel a little more up in age of maturity, more ageless, but more older appropriate. Age range for this, any age, truthfully. It's not too mature. It's not too juvenile. But yeah, 6 out of 10 for me, just because I think the Cyclamen note really ruined this fragrance. Yeah, it's like a very decisive vanilla. Indecisive, sorry. It's like a vanilla that's like, no, I want it to be a flower. You know, I don't want to be vanilla. Alternatives to this, I mean, so many, guys. I even think Lalique's Le Parfum for women is a better vanilla amber than this. You have Vanille Fatale, which is unisex. Absolute Aphrodisiac is unisex. The real Vanille Antique from Byredo is significantly better than this, in my opinion. Grand Soir, Gentle Fluidity Gold, all of those are better than this. And then when you get to the clones, you know, even Lattafa's Eternal Oud is better than this. Same vibe. I'm trying to look at my collection. Halloween Man Shot is better than this. Yeah, I mean, I gave you guys a lot of offerings, right? Trying to think. We did everything, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, a real letdown with this one. You know, let me say this. This is Arabiyat Prestige's first miss for me, for sure, just in full transparency. But it is, like, in and of itself, like, it doesn't smell fake. The DNA is balanced and all that stuff. It's just the wrong note pairing. You know, I don't think many people would really gravitate towards the creativity they were going for with this. But the formulation is good. It's strong. It doesn't smell like a clone or a fake or anything like that. it just is not a good formula. You know, I would go in there and say, dude, remove the freaking cyclamen, put that plum back in there, that intimate Paragon style ambery Palo Santo plum in there, and scale it way the heck down. Make the star of the show the woods, the amber, the vanilla, the labdanum. You know, just let that musk do its job. You really ride a fine line when you take a great formula that's already a banger and try to bring some completely different element that's very pronounced into the juice. I know why companies do that. They want to kind of make different iterations and stuff, but anyone who's sat with this fragrance knows, you know, you don't put soap in vanilla. I think that right there just kind of sums it up. Now, granted, they did florals, but this floral has a soapiness to it. So I just think it was they dropped the ball on the idea. Somebody should have been in that board meeting, and they weren't. It's like the creator showed up to the meeting, the boss wasn't there, so they're like, all right, we're just going to do it, and they flopped. With that being said, not everybody's going to make 10 out of 10 fragrances or even just great consistent fragrances, especially from the clone houses, because they're making so many fragrances. They don't take their time. And even though a lot of research and development goes into them, you can only do so much with a short amount of time. You're bound to miss. Go with the OG, guys, or go with any of the other alternatives that I named. All of those are bangers. So with that being said, this was Arabiyat Prestige's Fahad Regal going after Veni Fatale from Byredo. 6 out of 10. I don't even think you should get your nose on it unless that turned you on. You know, the idea of soapy florals with under a smoky, you know, ambery, vanilla, woody experience. If that's your tea, go after it, because it is a good formula if someone liked it, but I don't recommend it at all, to be quite honest with you. With that being said, I'm going to leave, but I'm going to put 2 videos up on the screen for you based off what you've been searching for. Subscribe to the channel, guys. I drop videos every day. Who do you know in Fragcom drops multiple videos every single day? Who do you know in Fragcom that does giveaways where we give away 20 to 30 fragrances? Who do you know in Fragcom giving away buttloads of niche discovery sets? Who do you know in Fragcom that cares like me? You know, I'm on a journey. I'm out here. I'm doing all the homework for you guys, and I'm doing it every day. And I'm not one of these guys who's hot for a second and going hard for you, and then I come back and say, oh, life happened. You know, I'm willing to do that. Hey, my priorities are straight, but I'm disciplined. I'm here every day for you guys with this fragrance content. So if you're new here, join up, man. It's free. And if you've already been here, speak up. Let us know who you are. We've got an awesome community. And if you've been sticking around and watching this content regularly and you haven't given me any feedback and put some stuff in the comments or join in the lives and stuff, what are you doing, man? When somebody's giving you something good, reward them. You know, stop by, hang out, say you were here. It means a lot. A lot of times you guys don't realize it's the fuel to the content creator. Now, I'd be doing this whether you were here or not, but I'd like to know I got people behind me that support me. With that being said, I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. This is SB signing out.